We're live.
We're live. Hello. Welcome to BBbreakdown 902. We're two Nova Scotian super fans that talk about Big Brother every week. We're Canadian, in case anybody that's watching is American and doesn't know where Nova Scotia is. It's on the east coast of Canada. So we represent the East Coast every episode, and we break down Big Brother because we love it. So my partner in crime is Lindsay. She's just currently uploading to Twitter and Facebook our links so that people can join us live. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. To be honest, neither one of us watched the episode tonight because I worked all day, and as you can probably tell, I worked all day, and then Lindsay had a busy day at work, so we just both got home, showered, and we're here to talk about the week. We, however, know the happenings of tonight from live feeds and following them. So we'll chat about this episode anyway, and kind of what's happened during the week since we stopped talking about it last week on Tuesday. You ready, Linz?
Ready.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So where we left off last was Bridget had been HOH, Frank had been roadkill. It was Frank's week, and Tiffany, Paul, and Bronte ultimately ended up on the block. And then there was on the POV episode, Bronte revealed to everybody that she was a mathematician, which was kind of funny because in real time she revealed that the week before to the girls. The girls were super happy and basically acting like they were in some sort of ninth grade sleepover, jumping on the bed, squealing, being super girly girl. And also in this episode, we learned that James, he revealed anyway, James revealed to Devon that Natalie was his number one. Just showing his loyalties to Devon, that Natalie was, he wanted to keep Natalie safe. And then warning her that she could be a potential roadkill nom, and just telling her that Frank was the one that ultimately put Bronte on the block, and that he wanted her to keep it a secret. And Natalie showed where her loyalty to on this episode, staying loyal to James. Do you think this was a smart move for James to kind of protect Natalie to Devon? Or do you think he should have kept his cards a little closer to his chest in regards to how close he has become with Natalie to the rest of the house? What do you think on this?
I think that it's early enough in the game that he can do that. I don't think it'll hurt him long term because he's playing somewhat a quiet game. I don't think he's a threat to anybody at this point in time. So he's just keeping his buddy and his girlfriend in the house. I don't think that it bothers Devon. I don't think her target is Natalie. It'd be a completely different situation if he was into Bronte or something like that. But I think it's so early that it's just I like this person, I like hanging out with them. Is that cool? Can they stay? And she's like, yeah, cool, whatever. But I think as people start to be eliminated and stuff like that, I think he'll play a different game.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't find he's gaming as hard as he did last year, which is pretty weird. I find he's a lot into the pranks, having a good time. And now that he's kind of has a love interest that is reciprocating his love interest, I find his game this year is a lot more laid back than we saw in his season in terms of gaming, strategizing, going hard in the comps. I find James is kind of holding back a little bit. Not sure if you find that as well, but that's kind of my thoughts on James' gameplay so far. And I think that's just kind of going hand in hand with him revealing to Devon that, he wants Natalie to stay. And I don't think it'll hurt him either, because I think out of everyone, Devon is trusting James the most in the house. But we kind of see in this episode and the next episode that Devon is kind of really, she's got a good sense of the house, and she's kind of controlling the house, and people are nervous to get her out this early. And I think that's going to end up working in her favor to get her into the game long term. Final Four kind of thing. I think she's playing a fabulous game. I really love Devon's game so
Yeah,
far.
I'm enjoying her too.
She might not be winning comp and like pulling the strings, so
yeah,
kudos to her. So the veto competition was all about cooking. It was called Veto-licious. They were doing highlighting the Outback Steakhouse. And Bronte ended up pulling out another win, or not Bronte, sorry, my bad. Bridget ended up pulling out another win in this comps, and I was kind of impressed by it. Kudos to her. So she wins veto, and she ends up taking Zakia's team to the dinner because it was her birthday, which was really nice. And again, that's just highlighting the kind of game she's playing the nice girl game. And she ends up, which really surprised me, not doing anything about taking anybody off the block. Like one of her allies was on the block and she just left her there. And the thoughts behind that were that Natalie would go up in her place. Do you think Natalie would have went up in her place if she took Bronte down? Do you think
so.
Frank would have nominated Natalie? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's potential, but the way Frank has been kind of like flipping the script on like his targets, I don't know necessarily that he would have put her up. But
who do you think he would have
I
put
guess
up?
we can't go back now. I don't know. Like he's starting to like not trust a lot of people in the house. Like he's.
Well, I wonder
like
why they're all after him.
Testing. Huh? Yeah, they are all.
They're all after him, no matter. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true, right? But I don't know. I just it's a risk that could have been worth taking because people know that she's aligned with Bronte, so it would have been a smart move to take her off. And who knows, Natalie might not have gone home even if she was put back on the block because James was protecting her. So it might have been Paul ending up going home, and then Bridget would have had both of her allies still in the house, like that were for sure Team Bridget and not just manipulating her. So in terms of Bridget's game, I think it was a mistake not taking her off personally. But anyway, so we also saw that Tiffany is just, I find, in my opinion, she's just mind fucking herself in these competitions. Like she was out, she got out of the game because she's just, all she's worried about is that, Vanessa did really well in this competition. She ended up winning this veto. I have to win this veto. Like this is my comp to win. Like she's just so caught up in comparing herself to her sister, unfortunately, that I think it's mind fucking her in a way. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think that she gets in her head too much like her sister. Like this is exactly what Vanessa did. They just spend all their time like creating these like ridiculous illusions in their head, and some of it's true, but I don't know. I think she just gets way too like, oh, I don't even know how to describe it. She just gets too involved, and then she kind of roadblocks herself in a way every time. Like she's getting in her own way. And we all kind of do that in situations, but you would think after watching her sister do it that she wouldn't do it. But I think like she's doing the opposite. She's remembering her sister's game and it's like, well, she did that, maybe I should do that. So it just kind of is creating more havoc than it's worth. I thought that she was going to play a really strong game, and I am not actually that impressed with her game as much as I thought. And I wasn't impressed with Vanessa's game either. Like I was just like, Vanessa was there, but she was always crying and she was chasing after the twins in Austin, and so it was like not that good. I wouldn't be sad to see Tiffany go, even though she's on my team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a fan of Vanessa's game as much as the emotional card that played so much with her game because she is just an emotional person. She's not an emotional player. She wasn't doing it purposefully, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
But I was a fan of how she made promises. She made deals with people. I liked her gameplay. I liked how strategic she was and how competitive she was, and how hard she was on herself. I didn't appreciate the amount of crying she did. But you know, under high stress situations, even the strongest players sometimes crumble. No, I did expect different gameplay from Tiffany, and I guess like similar to Polly and Cody. Like I think, and I'll ask you if you agree or not, but I think actually Polly is playing a better game than Cody did. I think he's on point with his strategy. He's developed a showman that I think could really, really, really benefit him, because we've seen in the past couple episodes that Zakia she really trusts his opinion. She trusts his judgment. And she's kind of in his back pocket in a way, because she'll just, in the past couple episodes, she's like, yeah, whatever you guys want to do, whatever you want to do, Polly, like, I'll do it. So like, he's kind of, I don't think he's intentionally wanting to control the way she plays or have that vote the way he wants it, but it's ending up being like that. And I legitimately think he's developed a connection with her and he enjoys being around her, and he's not using her in that regard, but she could be used in that regard, because as far as I've seen so far, she's been just kind of playing whatever game Polly wants to play, like kind of being his, like just going along with whatever he wants to play, sidekick in a way. Because I think she did have potential of being a strong player. Really thinking for her, and maybe that's part of her plan, is to be laid back, but I think Polly's playing a really great game. He's competitive. He's winning comps when he needs to. And I think overall, I find him a better player than Cody was. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I mean, it's kind of still early in the game, and I think Cody wasn't like amazing in the beginning. What Cody did really, really well is he played a strong social game. He aligned himself with someone who was very, very strong, who trusted him, but he was naive enough that like Derek could manipulate him to do what he wanted him to do and win comps when he needed him to win comps. So that was Derek's strategy, and it worked out well. But I think that no one's kind of like the puppet master of Polly. Polly's kind of doing his own thing. So I'm interested to see if he's actually able to like make big moves on his own. And I think if he is, then he's different than his brother. But I don't like he has so far. He's won 2 HOHs, and he's kind of playing his own game. He's not scared of people. He doesn't care to hurt people's feelings. It seems like not in a negative way. Just like he's not going to like sugarcoat anything, right? So I respect his game thus far. And also he's super fun to look at.
That's true. What do you think of Frank being super cocky this week and just come right out and told Bridget that he road-killed her and he road-killed Bronte, and Bridget was just like, ah, thank you.
Yeah.
I
think
that moment,
I don't know if I'd say it was, oh. Sorry, I was gonna say I don't know if I would say he was cocky. I think he was just like he was he's panicking a little bit because like he kind of got ambushed last week and he knows he's solo, so he has to be upfront with Bridget at this point because like she clearly is like, he's Dan and she's that nurse girl. Remember that? Oh my gosh. Dan and that girl that was like his partner and he like manipulated her all the time. That's what those two remind me of. I just thought of that right now. But I think yeah, I think it's just an act. He's trying to like create something. I don't actually think I think he's sweating bullets.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I can't believe the reaction Bridget had, and like we didn't see any further thought on it. She was just like, "Thank you," and like there wasn't even a diary. My God, I can't believe that Frank just did this to me. Like I was kind of surprised in that, but anyway. Okay, so moving on. So we go to the eviction episode, and Big Brother starts it out by calling Frank Dr. Frank. Did you catch that when they were describing the pre Dr. Frank? Like in the starting, when they describe people, Dr. Frank, and I was like, hold on. I'm like, Frank's playing an okay game up until this point, but he's definitely not Dr. Will. So do not refer to him as Dr. Frank because he doesn't even have a
No,
PhD.
he's definitely not
Like
that.
it was worth the playback if no one else caught it. I was just a little bit taken aback by it and saying like he's playing a good game, but I wouldn't put him in doctor status, nor would I compare him to Dr. Will up until this point. Anyhow, they basically in their recap they build up the fact that it's going to turn into this Frank versus Devon war. They build that up, and they're like preliminary like happenings of what happened, which is basically what this episode ends up being. How Devon flipped the vote and ended up getting Tiffany to stay and Bronte to leave, which totally like this just threw Frank for not just a 180 but a 360. His head was spinning after Bronte left. He took everyone into the washroom trying to figure out why the vote went down like this. And it was kind of like I always like it when a vote flips and the side that thought they were for sure winning doesn't win. It's
Yeah.
always fun to watch the aftermath of that. And even when this happens, like Frank was super confident going up into this week, and then he's like trying to like figure it out, calling Nicolo, going to Devon, and I don't know. I just think that Devon is playing, she is such a lioness in this game. Like she's just playing this game ferociously, and everybody else is just playing like are kittens compared to her. Like I think her game is so on point personally. And I know I'm using like like super funny expressions right there on point. I never say that. It's funny that I'm saying it, but I'm loving her game. I'm loving Devon's game. I'm loving the fact that she's successful, even though there was a little bit of opposition, strong
Yeah.
opposition in the house. What do you think? Are you surprised she pulled it off?
I'm
Tiffany ended
not
up
surprised
staying.
she pulled it off. I was happy to see. I like that the people that voted for her thought that they were all the ones that were making the big move, even though we, the viewers, know it was Davon. I think my favorite thing about that episode was Tiffany's speech to Frank. It was pretty heated, and I like a good like altercation, and it was definitely an altercation. He seemed so shocked by what happened and whatever, but I kind of think that he, I don't know, that she seemed a little rehearsed because I think she was nervous. It's also live TV, right? Like it's different when you're just like laying around in your sweats and there's cameras watching you, but she was like prepped and ready to go. She knew what she was saying, and I think she was a little bit nervous, but it was like it made for some great television. So she learned that from her sister. Anyway, yeah, no, I liked that episode. I think it was good, and Davon is playing a really good game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dictator Frank and her Cabbage Patch Kid Bridget. I wrote that down as my favorite quote. Yeah, it was an awesome speech. I agree with you. Like, good job, Tiffany. And I'm really happy with how Bronte reacted, though. Like, she was like cool as a cucumber. Like, she did a really good job of like sitting on the block and being like, okay, well, I'm not in the business for being mean. So I had a really good time. I said her speech, which is great because she didn't even know there was a chance to get like a buyback into the game. So if she comes back into the game, she wasn't hostile. She wasn't like, as Cassandra would say, stabbing people in the back
Yeah.
on her way out. And in her post interview with Julia, she was just like, when she heard about the buyback, it was so cute. She was like, I'm really happy I held my tongue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I was really happy with the way she composed herself, considering it was a blind side. And yeah, let's see if she'll get back in. Like, we'll see. She wasn't my most favorite player, but I wouldn't mind seeing her come back and
Yeah.
see how that. So tonight's episode, let's get to that. So Paulie ends up winning the HOH, and he nominates Tiffany, who he wanted out last week and didn't get out, and he nominates Natalie. And so, thoughts on the noms?
I
Are
think
you
Natalie
surprised with them?
Natalie's not the target, obviously. Tiffany is, which is shocking just because you would think that like the two siblings coming back would partner up, but that isn't happening. I think he's doing what the house kind of wants. But he wasn't going to put up Paul because Paul's kind of taken one for the team quite a bit. And so it was nice to see him not go up. But yeah, no, I'm glad that Tiffany's up. I think good on you. I'm kind of over it, to be honest. Like I don't like the crying and the moodiness. Ugh. But yeah.
Yeah, I think that him and Paul have a little side alliance going on that we're not really privy to on the live shows. I'm liking Paul didn't go up. I'm liking Paul in and outside the diary room. I'm really happy with his recovery in the game. Excuse me, because I've been Team Paul from the beginning. And I'm rooting for him. I am. I'm rooting for him. I'm hoping he wins the next HOH. I think if he does, he'll really spice things up with his noms and just with the week of being HOH. I'm hoping for him to anyway, just to add some, some change, because the same group of people have been winning HOH. And the one side is getting picked off.
Yeah.
And I'm always up for seeing the underdogs win. I'm a fan of that. As I said, I've been a fan of Paul, so I'm hoping for a Paul HOH next week. But getting back to this week, so Paulie wins, Tiff and Natalie are on the block, and then we have the roadkill nominations, and winner this week is Tiffany, and she ends up nominating Corey, which creates this huge, on feeds anyways, this huge reaction by Nicole. Nicole is just furious that Corey would be put up and is accusing people of putting words in Corey's mouth that he said about Tiffany, because Tiffany's reasoning for Corey going up is because he was bad-mouthing her. And so anyway, so Nicole is just, she's showing her heart a little bit in the game, and really upset that Corey got put on the block. What are your thoughts on that? Where do you think moving forward this HOH will end up being for addiction? Who do you think will go?
I think Tiff is going to go.
You think?
Yeah.
Think there's any chance of Corey going?
Nope.
No?
No, he's too in line with the other people.
What if Tiffany wins HOH or wins veto?
I know who wins veto.
Who wins veto? I didn't read that far.
Corey.
Who? Okay.
Corey.
Oh, Corey wins veto. Good job, Corey. Corey wins veto.
So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking who could go up. But I guess like Paul's probably going to go up in replace of him. Because he's not going to put up Sakia. He's not going to put up Davon, James, or Nicole. So it's going to be Paul. Right?
So I guess Tiffany's going then. I don't know. I don't know who the renom is. You don't know who the renom is after veto?
Nope. He just won it.
Does anyone want to tweet us? We're okay with spoilers if anyone wants to tweet us.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's probably going to be Paul that goes back up, unless Paulie pulls a really big move.
But apparently, Tiffany is trying to talk Paulie into putting Davon up.
I don't think that's going to happen. The only other person, if he stays loyal to Paul, which I think there's a possibility he may, I could see him putting Bridget up.
They can't. They're safe.
I could see that.
You can't put her up.
Oh, wait. That's right. This teams thing. Do you think the teams will end next week?
Yeah.
How much longer do you think, Big Brother?
It's too much at this point. It's unfair to the rest of them because like now Paul's gonna go up and like, it's just not fair.
No. Like I think the veterans have been safe long enough, Big Brother.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's time for the veterans to fight on their own, and enough with this safety business. Let's play Big Brother. Let's stop with the teams.
Yeah.
It's probably going to stop when Bob's over. Once that returnee comes in, that's when teams will stop. I guarantee
Exactly.
you.
Yep.
We'll come back and they'll no more teams.
And that buyback is
Anyway, they'll
happening
double shock them. They'll double.
the buyback is happening on Friday. It gets its own episode, which is like we were trying to figure that out last time how they were going to bring them back. So interesting.
I was just. Oh, it's getting its own episode. So I was just so confused as to how they were going to fit that into all the drama that's been unfolding in the house. But I'm glad they're getting their own episode. More Big Brother. I love. Okay, cool. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so it's on
I'm trying to
Wednesday,
follow the link
Thursday, and Friday.
Perfect. That's great because I'm off. When do I get off? Today's Sunday. I'm off Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays. All next week, Big Brother from Melissa. Perfect. So I'm excited about that. You all know I am. So please, anyone that's tuned in today, if you have any questions for us, anything, you can tweet at us for this episode, or if you think of something after we're offline, tweet at us and we'll answer next episode. I'm going to put up a poll this week, seeing how there's so much Big Brother. I'm going to put up a poll to see who you guys think will get back in the house with the buyback. And I'll put it up and I'll see what you guys think and we'll talk about it on our next show. It's been fun. So I think that basically rounds up this week. Linz, do you have anything else where we say goodbye?
Oh, I was going to say that everybody should be following Raul on Snapchat. 1, he's hilarious. 2, he parties a lot. And 3, he's got friggin' Kelsey and Phil all over his Snapchat, and they're holding hands and they're dancing together, and Jared is gone. It is all Kelsey and Phil, and everyone's like saying like that she's like this big like person like that's going after him for his money and stuff like that. I mean, the kid won like $100,000, split in 2, so he won $50,000. So really, frankly, he won like an annual salary, and that's it. Like the guy didn't win a ton of money. So I don't think that she's after him for his money. I think she likes him, and I always thought they were the better fit besides her and Jared. So I am so excited. I hope it gets like some entertainment tonight coverage like John and Netta did. I really want them together. Like I spent way too long looking at the internet today to try to figure out if they're together or not. So I want that to be a thing. I think that they're both keeping pretty quiet on it on their personal social media, but good old Raul is like letting me see everything. So yeah, I highly recommend you follow him because I'm looking.
So here we are, Raul. Shout out to you. Thank you for keeping us in the loop with BB Camp 4. We find you highly entertaining on Snapchat. Thank you for in the loop with Kelsey and Bill. We will tag all 3 of you with the link to our show because we love Big Brother Canada and we are happy to see that it's continuing on afterwards. P.S. I really want to go to one of the many events that John Party and Cassandra and Ramsey are doing in Canada. Linz, we'll have to talk about that after the show and discuss that.
Yeah, I know.
It would be great if we got together for one. For our 2 in Ottawa, we can also take these people because I love them. There's 2 in Ottawa and 1 in Toronto. 3 opportunities for us to get together somehow, Lindsay, to do this. And we will post pictures on our Twitter. So anybody that follows us and loves Big Brother Canada as much as we do, if we end up going
I like the in the face.
We'll post pictures for all of your enjoyment because we know how much you love Big Brother as much as we do. So that's our episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will see you next week and we will be posting on our Twitter account. We already decided, didn't we, when we're doing next week? I think it's on Tuesday.
Monday. No, Monday.
Sunday?
A week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow.
So we'll post on Twitter to confirm, but join us next week. We love talking with you all. Tweet at us, vote in our poll, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.